Welcome back to Level 9 Magic Club. I'm Fuzz. Joined with me, as always, is the Rage Knight himself, Ryan. How you doing today, man?
Mixed feelings. Mixed feelings. We're talking about Universes Beyond, so that's going to be the tempo for me today.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how to feel about Universes Beyond as a whole. But at the same time, there's some really cool stuff out there that I do really enjoy and I like. But
yeah, and I will say that it's tough because we come off, the back of that last episode with DM Will. That was a fun episode. If you've not listened to that, cycle back an episode, check it out. It's a good time. So we have all that cool stuff, and I love D&D, so we kind of get into that a little bit. And then we get hit in the face with Universes Beyond on this next episode, and I'm like, I don't know, right? It's like, there's some cool stuff, and then there's like, it's over here that I really do not like. So, man, it's different.
yeah, I agree. And that last episode was a lot of fun. So if you're the one person that's like listening to our podcast, please like and
Right.
subscribe to our channel, and maybe we'll get more people to listen in and have fun with us and listen to our goofy stories. So that'd be cool. Just we're on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, X. Give us a follow. We'd appreciate it,
Yeah.
just so we know
Share it
that.
with everybody you know.
Yeah, just so we know maybe that there's somebody out there listening, and
Yeah.
we're not just two goofballs doing this for absolutely no one. We are doing it for fun and in hopes that maybe it does sprout and become something cool. And we have to put the time in. We understand that. But if you're the one person listening, if you could just subscribe to us, we would really appreciate it. So,
Yeah, and definitely, as you're going down the street to random people, share the podcast. Call that old friend you don't talk to anymore. Tell grandma. Whatever you got to do.
exactly. So, well, let's jump into it. We're talking about Universes Beyond today. To infinity and beyond, as one could say. We're going to be talking about what we think is good and bad for Universes Beyond. But one thing that I saw recently that jumped out at me, and I actually didn't see this firsthand. I saw some forums online, somebody talking about this, and I thought it was just super interesting. So I wanted to bring it up. It's going to be the first thing we talk about. And this is Mark Rosewater commenting on the Universes Beyond set. So I'm going to read this quoted from his Blogatog. Sales are up, play is up, the number of players is up, new players are up, engagement is up, awareness of the brand is up. We track a lot of metrics. It's all up. Much of it has increased by larger margins than we have ever increased before. As a business, Magic is at its healthiest it's ever been in its history. More people are currently playing Magic than at any time in its 33 years. Magic is reaching a cultural awareness it has never reached before. R&D has always had a focus on long-term health. We all started as fans of the game. We want it to continue for generations to come. I don't know what else I can say that will convince the naysayers that we're not blindly flying into the side of a cliff. We have every reason not to, and all of our instruments say clear skies ahead. Plus, we're not on autopilot. We're constantly adapting to all the data we're getting. That doesn't mean every decision we're making is correct. That's why we're constantly adapting. We try things that fail, learn from them, and then try something different. So, feedback is crucial. That's one of the reasons I started this blog. And if you don't like something, I do want to hear it. But I also use this blog to try and let you know what's going on. To educate all of you that like behind the scenes... that doesn't make sense. And I might just be reading it improperly, so I apologize, everybody. To educate all of you that like behind the scenes information. Yeah, I definitely read that wrong now that I'm reading it in my head. Holy smokes. We'll get through this episode, I promise, guys.
We will.
Universes Beyond is wildly successful by every metric we monitor. It's having a shift on the game as big, and maybe bigger, as the Commander format. And like the introduction of Commander, not everyone is as fond of the shift as others. Magic is a lifestyle game, which means people incorporate it into their lives in ways that are direct and personal. And no one likes having their metaphorical cheese moved. So I do understand why there's some discomfort. And where we can use your feedback to make the game better, we are using it. I'm not trying to deny anyone's personal reality. I'm not saying that you have to like every decision we make. I'm not saying there aren't things we could do better. What I am saying is what we are currently doing is generally working pretty well. So until we get clear data that says it's a problem, we're continuing on the current path with eyes wide open, constantly adapting. Wow, that was a lot. What are your first thoughts on that post?
I mean, I think it's obvious. They are seeing revenue with this, right? You can't deny that. They're seeing revenue, there's new interest. And because of that, if the bottom line looks good, they're going to keep doing it. I know that, we've been around the block a little bit, and, we're used to Magic having its own thing, it's its own IP. And I've come to love the storytelling in Magic itself. And then once the Universe Beyond thing, Secret Layer thing, come out, where they're reaching out of different stories and bringing them into Magic, I didn't know how I felt about that. I know at first, I didn't much care for that. I thought, okay, well, if let's say they take a regular card and they reskin it in the format of The Walking Dead, they did that, right? And I guess that's okay. You know what I mean? It's kind of like in a video game when there's microtransactions and but all of them are skins, right? They have no benefit to the game. You don't get the God Gun, but it gets a cool skin if you pay some money. I kind of looked at it that way, right? If they take existing Magic and they reskin it a little bit and in the flavor of a show that they're bringing in, I was like, I'll suffer through it, fine. But it's not that anymore, right? It is definitely introducing new cards, new mechanics from these other IPs. And so now I'm very mixed on this. Some of it I really like, and I've come to like because they're Fallout was awesome. I'm a big Fallout fan, love it. Avatar, Final Fantasy, huge set, right? Loved it. But, I do like the original Magic, so I'm torn. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I feel dirty playing, or not playing, but entertaining some of these new sets. But
Right.
the only thing I can say is when I play these cards, they still feel like Magic. They get the mechanics. I think they've been getting the mechanics right for the most part. I don't think there's anything that in a Universe Beyond set that, mechanically speaking, does not feel like Magic. So that's a plus. It's hard to argue that when he says sales are up, plays up, the number of players.
People like it.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And I like reflecting on when Commander first started coming around. We just talked about this with Will last episode, right? We really weren't sure about Commander when we first started playing it. And we were like, I know that when I first played and you guys tried to get me into it, I was like, I kind of had the same sentiment as Will. What do you mean only one copy of a card in a 100-card deck? It's going to be impossible to make a deck that big.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember trying to build Purphoros, the original Purphoros. Every time a creature ETB'd, he dealt 2 damage to each opponent. I was like, well, that's a good start. And it was mono red, and man, that was a terrible decision because that deck sucked. And I was like, guys, you lied to me. This format is terrible. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So I do get that sentiment of, I think as Magic players, we can be kind of pull back the reins.
Set our ways.
Yeah, for sure, set in our ways. And so I do get that if I'm looking at it, outside looking in. I was definitely set in my ways. Like, nothing's better than standard. Nothing will ever beat it. It's, nothing's going to be that good.
I had a standard bug for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely think that he is right not for the most part. He's 100% right. I mean, we are seeing these sets sell out It's hard to get your hands on some of them. If you don't pre-order, your chances of getting some stuff is going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
So that's good for the
Oh,
game.
but I will say, like, to counter that slightly, I mean, wasn't like Spider-Man um, less hype for the Spider-Man set compared to others? Like, I know Final Fantasy was huge, but I felt like Spider-Man was not received as well. Maybe the sales don't reflect this. I'm not sure, but that was as I talked to other Magic players. So that's anecdotal. But as I talked to other Magic players, they were not super stoked about Spider-Man. They're like, I guess. Whereas like my kids, for example, love Spider-Man. So maybe like as they got older and they're like, oh, there's a Spider-Man set. Maybe they still like it. They'll buy it or something if they got to play Magic. But I don't know. Like other players like myself have been playing a while. Even some of the people coming in that are newer, Spider-Man just didn't do it for them. Whereas, like, I've been asked many times about, like, the Lord of the Rings set. How, like, oh, I love Lord of the Rings. That's in that game. Oh, that's cool, you know? So I think some are, like, crazy, doing crazy numbers, and I think some maybe not as much, but I think it's enough to where, like, they're going to keep moving with it.
Yeah, I've not looked at the numbers financially, so I don't have any reference point for that. But I do think that they are being strategic in that. As far as Spider-Man goes, I think I bought one pack, but I did end up buying a really cool card, Fact or Fiction, it was like the Daily Bugle newspaper.
Okay, okay.
I went to a trading card show, not this recent weekend, but the weekend before last, and one of the vendors had that card, and it was like $6. It was not expensive, but I thought that was like the really coolest thing about the Spider-Man set was they took like in-universe uh, artwork, and well, not somebody designed the card to look like it would be in universe, and it was awesome. I thought that was really cool. But me
Mhm.
personally, Spider-Man didn't do it for me. But if you look at some of these other sets, like you were just talking about Lord of the Rings, I think they're strategically, you know, pumping them out. Because if you look at the demographic for Magic, I'd be willing to say that the majority of players are going to be between 25 to 40 right now. If I had to
Right.
guess,
Yeah.
right?
And they're probably casting a large net, right? That makes sense from a business perspective. If I'm trying to get as much revenue as possible, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, right? You're like, I'm gonna cast this large net. I'm gonna hit all these successful IPs, throw them out there, and see what works. So I think they're trying to get everybody they can. So I get it. So there's gonna be things we like, some things we don't like out of preference. But I think if their thinking is if I can get many, many more people to engage and play Magic, that's a win, and they're not wrong. I mean, I want Magic to survive, so it's got to make money. I have no problem with that. It's just, I guess this is a taste. Like, what's your taste for Magic? Do you like the original, and can you tolerate some of this newer stuff? Which is kind of where I'm at. Like, it's okay. You know, I like some of it, but I am kind of a purist almost, where I wish they'd just continue with Magic. But hey, look, maybe they're looking at the numbers and saying, if they would have continued with the original storytelling, there wasn't a lot of growth for their company. I don't know. Maybe that was the math. And they said, hey, look, we can borrow from this, get people excited about Fallout, get people excited about Lord of the Rings. That draws people in, and they're probably not wrong.
Exactly. And the sets, they're again, if you look at the demographic, right, the age range, um, they kind of they're targeting us. There's all this data they get, and they're probably purchasing. Your phone listens to everything you say. You can be talking about, for example, I was talking about pouring a concrete pad at my house, and I start getting advertisements for companies that can do that. So they're definitely
Yeah,
getting information from us every time we
sure.
search for a magic card. So they're probably seeing all these people that are searching for magic in general, they also have these similar likes. And I'm sure that these Universe Beyond sets are like, some of them are a dream for the creators that are like building the
Oh
sets.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Like,
sure
don't
they
get me
love it.
wrong, but there's a lot of analytical data that's got to be going into it too, to say,
Yeah,
okay,
I don't think they're dumb. I think you know what I mean. I think they're trying to approach it intelligently, like they're a company, so they're taking in the data and they're thinking, how can we make the best decision financially for the game that lets it thrive and survive. That I don't doubt that. I will say one challenge is that right now it's kind of like the COD syndrome. It's the like how Call of Duty they got to have like one out every year. It's got to be, you know what I mean? It's like reskin, resell. Here's a little few more mechanics, throw it out there, and that's what I feel like Magic's doing is they're rushing stuff out. I mean, for a great example, this is recently as Lorwyn is hits the new Lorwyn set hits. It was 5 seconds later, and the turtle set drops. So there was not much time to explore this new Lorwyn set before Ninja Turtle starts overshadowing that. So I don't care for that at all. Like I think it needs time to cook. You know what I mean? And it definitely did not get that time.
Yeah, they are coming out way too fast in my opinion. Especially, I would say I'm a pretty average Joe for the most part. I'm a very average guy. So for me, going to work again, being involved in your community, your family life, these things. If it's hard for me to keep up with it, I can imagine what it's like for other people that are average, especially
Hmm.
the cost. Um, the cost to me, man, it's just really expensive to buy cardboard. I can understand with the Universe Beyond sets, they have to purchase licensing and whatnot. So some of that you're going to be paying for
Yep.
is that.
Yep.
And I get that. That's not a problem. But the cards are not that expensive to make when they're making them in the droves that they're making them. So it's a good thing they're making money, but at the same time, they could probably bring the prices down, but they're just going to
Yeah. There's
continue to
there's a
go up.
fine balance.
Yeah, they're going to
Right.
continue to go up as long as people pay for it. So,
Right. I mean, I looked it up for like Final Fantasy. It's what is it generated 200 million in sales on the first day. So if that doesn't tell you anything, like
yeah, an insane number. And I mean, that's a very popular game for our generation, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I basically have been playing Final Fantasies since the time I started playing Magic. I've been playing Magic for 25 years. So like it was in the same. I mean, and that's why that crossover is so easy for me, is because the same time I was like, oh look at these awesome cards. How do I play this game? I was also being shown to play how to play Final Fantasy 7 and 8 at that time. So yes, it's easy. Plus, look, it's a fantasy element that fits nicely into Magic. There's guys wielding swords, wearing armor. It's the same kind of feel. As they go into the more obscure, the harder it gets. I think for immersion, just speaking about that part, like quality of life as you're playing it. Like, I don't know. Do you play a SpongeBob card and feel like you're really in that fantasy world? Or if you throw Aragorn out, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I could see Aragorn in this, right? I could see him with the sword standing by Gideon or something like that potentially. But SpongeBob's kind of breaking it a little bit. The immersion's kind of gone.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Bikini Bottom set. That is not, and I grew up watching SpongeBob, loved SpongeBob.
Sure.
Even as a teenager, I'd watch SpongeBob when it was on.
Right. It was ridiculous. You made you laugh. Yeah.
Exactly. But that being said, speaking of SpongeBob, why don't we talk about some of the cards that we like or dislike whenever it comes to the Universe Beyond set? I know that I have a couple that I really like, and especially one of them is my
Mhm.
commander. So let's talk about that. What are the cards that you're seeing from these Universe Beyond sets that you're a fan of?
Okay. So I got a few I just threw out there just off the top of my head. One, I'll leave one to you because he is your commander. But like again, being a big fan of Final Fantasy, and that are popular is Kefka Court Mage is a huge commander that's seen a lot of play right now from the Final Fantasy set, Final Fantasy 6, I believe. And that's awesome, right? It fits in the universe. Again, I think Final Fantasy, I think Lord of the Rings, these sets merge nicely into Magic, and they have cool mechanics. Kefka, when he enters or attacks, he makes see each player discards a card. Then, if you draw a card for each type of card discarded this way, so if four-man pod, if I make everybody discard and I discard a sorcery, opponent across from me instant, dude over here is a creature card and a land from the other guy. Then potentially drawing 4 cards, so it's awesome. And then each opponent sacks a creature when you transform Kefka for 8. and then becomes this nasty 5/7 flyer that hits, and whenever you do damage at all, you draw cards. So really powerful. I think there's talks about CDH if it hasn't already hit that. One
He's a
I
strong
like.
one. He's a strong one, and our friend Mike, that's his commander, and we've talked about it a couple of times about how we had like an aha moment with Kefka, and that kind of really
Yep.
seeing his face light up. That was cool, and that came from a Universe Beyond set. That wasn't
Right.
in set.
Not a negative.
Yeah.
Definitely not a negative. And so that's kind of the good, right? As these sets come out, I'm trying to be positive because yeah, there's stuff I really don't like, right? I've already referenced SpongeBob, hate it. But when it comes to some of these other sets, there's been some really good stuff. Another Final Fantasy card is Tifa Lockhart. So that's one of the most well-known Final Fantasies. She comes from in Final Fantasy VII. It is great storytelling. And anyways, so she's a 2-drop, green and 1/2 trample with landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa Lockhart's power until end of turn. So really cool landfall deck, cheap creature to play out. So those are cool, easy to play around in a pod and just pop off and smack somebody with it. And you know me, I kind of do Tronny stuff anyway. So one big nasty creature to me sounds like a good time.
Well, I'll tell you this. We had mentioned and passing when we talk about Magic, doing like monocolored commanders. And if I had to pick one, it'd probably be this one. I've been getting back into Arena a little bit. I finally made a couple Brawl decks.
Yeah, same.
And I got absolutely smoked by her last night.
Oh, yeah, it gets insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, you just think, oh, they're going to play land. I'll get hit by 4, play 2 lands, whatever, not a big deal. The guy that I played against, or girl I played against, on like turn 3 or turn 4, had her at a 48, 48-2,
right.
something like that with trample. And I was like, whoa, that was nuts. It just got out of hand so fast. And you know me being a green player, they used I think it was Harrow or Roiling Regrowth, where you sack a land, get 2 lands, and that made me drool. I was like, oh, dude, you're telling me that you landfalled into that? Like, that's my favorite mechanic, and you hit me for 48 damage on turn 3?
Crazy.
Like, yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. But
yeah, it can come out of nowhere and just shellac you, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And again, from a great set that I don't hate. So pretty big fan of that. But my other pick is actually your commander. So why don't you talk about him?
Yeah, so I got super lucky whenever I got him. I pulled him out of a pack at my local game store, and that is Vivi Orniteer. And I opened him up, and at first I didn't really follow the Final Fantasy set, like, at all. I didn't really care because I'd never played Final Fantasy in my life until recently. And unfortunately, I've been so busy I haven't got to actually play more of it because I did end up buying it. It was super cheap on the PlayStation Store, so
Yeah,
I think
because that one's Final Fantasy IX is what he comes out of, and it's also a really good story. That's honestly that's what drew me into Final Fantasy back in the day, was the storytelling. Other than the fact that in recent years they've done sequels following a Final Fantasy, which they never used to do, from my understanding at least, because there's like 13-2 and Final Fantasy X-2, so they continue on doing that, but before it was a standalone story. Like, when you hit Final Fantasy VII, they told the story. There wasn't a continuing cast of characters going into Final Fantasy VIII. No, that was a different cast of characters and a different story. So Final Fantasy IX it's got its own very cool setting and story. It's really great. Sorry, I just geek out about it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's really fun. It's really cool. So when I open this guy and I'm reading him, I'm like, okay, his casting cost is really low. That's awesome. And then I read his first ability. So for 0, you can activate his ability, add X mana in any combination of blue and or red, where X is Vivi Orniteer's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. And then he says, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Vivi Orniteer, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And my jaw about hit the floor when I read that second one. I was like, whoa. I was like, this is the most green creature I've ever seen. and he's red and blue because he costs one
Yeah.
a blue and a red. And I
Yeah.
was like, I can work with that. I was like, I can make a pretty good deck around that, I think. And there are versions out there that are way better than mine. But dude, he is so fun to play. You're just casting little bits and bobs and kind of protecting him a little bit, and then you just throw down a crashing wave of awesome. And it could be anything. It could be a giant spell. It could be a Hullbreaker horror that you go accidentally infinite with, and you don't know. So he's really cool.
Do you cantrip it a little bit? Do you do the like one drop spells that say do random thing, draw a card, or are you doing like reduction? I haven't played them in a while, so are you doing reduction stuff so your spells that might be a bit more expensive now cost a very reasonable amount, and so you can do 2, 3, 4 things in a turn and really get them to pop?
So I'm not doing reduction. I'm doing like cantrippy stuff.
Okay.
And usually it's like protection, draw a card, or all your permanents get
Okay.
hexproof and
Okay.
indestructible, or hexproof and
Mhm.
unblockable or something. But it's
I gotcha.
mainly based around draw. But I've learned here in a deck that I'll talk about later because my commander is from a new UB set. I've learned that cost reduction is really good. Like it's
Mhm.
better than I thought it was, and I think that's the fun thing about Magic to me is I'm always learning something. But unfortunately, in that color scheme, to my knowledge, most color reduction stuff or most spell reduction is usually pretty expensive if you want to get the better stuff. So I think he
What about like
runs.
the crystals? The 4-drop crystals out of the oh, what is that? The Avatar set does the crystal. Oh no, it's a Final Fantasy set. Does the crystals. You
So
know what I'm talking about?
that's where I'm still not very familiar with the Final Fantasy set. So I'm not too familiar with the crystals. I'll have to look them up, and that's just on
Yeah.
me having time to do that, right? So, and that's another problem is kind of coming back on it full circle is there are so many sets dropping and so many cards in these sets. It's hard for me to keep up. And again, I think I'm a pretty average Joe. So
Mm.
that's tough for me. I can't, it's not like whenever I was 18 years old, the best thing I had to do was play Magic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have anything better to
Well,
do.
you also didn't drop sets like this. Like I said, they're kind of doing the Call of Duty thing where like they're just mass producing content. And yeah, it's you can have paralysis of the analysis. You can have let me look at these 15 sets that dropped 5 seconds ago and try to figure out what I'm going to do with this. I used to be able to like just I don't know, go to Card Kingdom, right? And I would filter my search to one set and this set's coming out, so it's like in pre-release stage or maybe it just fell. And I just go, okay, and I'm gonna go rares and mythics and uncommons, mostly. Maybe I had enough time, I could even do the whole thing. And I would scroll through stuff, looking for particular things, just getting a feel for the set. Now I couldn't do that. By the time I finished that list, another set would have just dropped. Like I wouldn't have had time to understand what was going on with this set before this set is dropping, and I've got to figure out a whole new set of mechanics and cards. So it is the sign of our times in this case, where like we've just got so much content that I don't think you're just going to know everything as other than the rhythm of your play group. When you see like friends playing certain cards out of different sets that they thought were interesting, that's how I think you're going to learn for the most part. Also, listening and watching your favorite commentators and people playing online gets you familiar with some of the cards, especially when they drop. A lot of people are talking about new sets as they drop. But yeah, you got to really stay in the know to keep track of all this stuff. It's insane.
My goodness, yes. There's just so much, and I think it is information overload at some point. Unless like Magic is your thing and your only thing, like I said, average Joe, it's gonna be tough. But let's
Yeah,
move along here and let's talk about a
yeah.
couple more of these cards that we like from the universes beyond. I see a couple dragons, and man, I love
Of
dragons.
course. Yes, yes, I know. So this is Lord of the Rings shenanigans, and these see play in my Corvold deck because I love treasures so much. I love them. So Cavern Horde Dragon. So this is really great. It's big and expensive. So it's 7 and 2 red, right? 6/6 dragon. The spell cost X less to cast, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. So in a pod, pretty easy to do to get that reduction. And then Flying Trample Haste, so he gets to swing right off the rip. Big fan of that, and he's big and stompy. And then when Cavern Horde Dragon deals combat damage to a player, you may create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. Man, oh man, do you generate some treasure tokens. I love it. So, very cool card. And
I,
again, in a UB set, which is why I'm kind of like, okay, I can't help but like those cards.
and his artwork's cool too. But I'm not seeing him in Korvold, at least when I've played against you. Thank the Lord, because
It's great.
yeah, he's good. Flying, trample, and haste. Ooh, that's I'm really digging his artwork. Obviously,
Yes,
he looks
very
like
cool.
Smog, like he's in a similar setting. I know it's not him, but it looks a lot like him.
Yes. Yep. And for me, I know with my Corvold build, I tend to default build Tron without even trying, which is frustrating. But then as dragons like this hit the market, I was able to add stuff like this and the following one I'm getting ready to mention because they were building these great treasure related dragons. And so now it's almost started to get a dragon deck feel instead of just all about Corvold. So I have some redundancy with what I'm trying to do with another Stompy dragon. Big fan. Good time. So, which leads into this next one. This one is great. I've actually won a game with you and our buddy Dan with this dragon. This helped keep it going because Corvold was getting sniped out of the air during that game. And that is the Ancient Copper Dragon. It is a 4 and 2 red costing dragon, 6/5 flyer. So when Ancient Copper Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. And it works great even with a guy like me, and anybody who plays D&D with me knows my rolls in a D20 are usually not great. Not great.
Absolutely
But
terrible. It's a
they're
nat one.
terrible. But thank the Lord, the last time I played Ancient Copper Dragon, I had like Parallel Lives or something out. So I like double treasured out. And even though I like rolled an 8, it was 16. So like if you're me, you have to add redundancy for your really poor luck. And that's okay. You know what? We don't need luck to win, right? We just need to be good. So but yeah, he's a great addition to any treasure shenanigans you're trying to pull off. And also again, a UB card that I can't get enough playing.
Yeah, he also looks really cool too, sitting on his pile of
Of
gold.
course he does. It's a freaking dragon. They're all cool.
They're all cool. You're right.
And then I just got a couple more, and that's from the Avatar set, and that's just because not that like these are the greatest cards that come out of the set or anything, but these are cards I'm playing now because I like the mechanic. And so the first one is Boomy Unleashed. So this is a 5-drop, 3, 1 red, 1 green, 5/4 trample. And who doesn't love Boomy? If you watch the Avatar sets, he's an insane person. Or the Avatar series rather. But he's 5/4 trample. When Boomy enters, Earthbend 4. So you're going to take 4 1/1 counters, put it on a land you control. And then Boomy, whenever Boomy deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Only land creatures can attack during that combat. So this works well for me, and that's because I'm playing this next card as my commander for just a fun deck, and that is Toph, the first Metal Bender. So these two really work nicely together. And Toph costs 1 generic, red, green, white, so it's a Naya commander for me. 3/3 creature, and it says non-token artifacts you control are lands in addition to the other types, which is awesome. We'll get to that in a minute. And then at the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2. So you're going to at your end step make a 2/2 land creature. So that's how Boomy works well, is because all those lands you're generating because of Toph and other cards, if you're doing a lot of earthbendy stuff, he then gets to swing with them as an additional combat phase. So it sets up the 1/2, which is nice. And especially with Toph, the gnarly thing, and I think I might have mentioned this at another one of the shows, but you can take like Mindslaver, throw it out there, it's a land, earthbend it, sack it, take a person's turn, and it comes right back to the field after it dies thanks to earthbending. So you can do some pretty gnarly stuff like that. So, and again, all that comes from a Universe Beyond set, so I don't hate everything. Those I really like.
Right. And then the other combo with Boomy, I can't remember I can't pronounce it. I think it's like a Shia world something. It's a mono green creature.
Oh yeah, that makes everything forest.
That makes everything forest. And that
Yeah.
way you just have infinite combats with Boomy, which is kind of funny.
Yes, he's in there too.
Yeah. So those are some really awesome ones. I'll tell you, oddly enough, right now my favorite card from a Universe Beyond set is Raph and Mikey Troublemakers. Dude, they're five. It's five colorless, and you could do a red green hybrid to pop him out. Trample, haste, 7/7. When he attacks, you reveal cards until you hit a creature, and it comes into the battlefield tapped and attacking. And I've been playing that on Arena, and holy smokes, is it fun!
Yes.
And
Yes,
like I
it's
said,
good.
I feel kind of dirty whenever I think about the Universe Beyond sets. I'm like, this isn't Magic, but man, does it feel good playing them? Like they still feel good to
Right.
play.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough one way or the other. I'm hoping that Morrow's right when he says, our Commander players were kind of apprehensive about Commander at first, and now look where it's at. It's the best format that's ever been created in almost any card game
Yeah.
ever.
Right, and everybody loves change, right? So part of that might be that, right? This is Commander. Now we got this different thing happening to Commander. Not everybody likes it. And again, I was apprehensive because just as much as they can print cool stuff like the cards we named, they can print dumb stuff. At least in my opinion. Like the cards I'm getting ready to name for things I don't much care for, that might be somebody's favorite card that's listening. Who knows? It also is your personality type too. Maybe I take Magic too seriously. I like the storytelling to be immersive and cohesive and very interesting, and I'm more of a serious person in that regard. Whereas like some of these cards that are a little more silly, people enjoy because they're like more relaxed, and it's a big, like it's fun and stupid, and they get a kick out of it, right? So they're not offended by these cards where I am. So like some of these that come out, I've mentioned the SpongeBob stuff. I'm just going to leave that alone because I don't want to be here all night. So I think that's dumb. Then followed up with, you have like the White Shroot stuff dropping here soon for a secret layer. And I love The Office. Love it. But I don't want to play Dwight Schrute. I can't help it.
I do.
It does not make sense. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. He's going to come in and karate chop you to death. I don't know what he's going to do, but
I want to
yeah, not a fan.
play the Reaper King version of Dwight. I just think it's so
my
funny.
God.
Just
See-
Dwight being a scarecrow. Could you imagine Dwight in his beat field being in a scarecrow?
I'm just targeting you down. You gotta go.
Yeah.
But see, that's my point, right? I think it's ridiculous, and as much as I love The Office, I don't want it in my Magic. At the same time, you're enjoying the heck out of it. So it really is what you like, what's your taste. So that's why I think Magic's doing this. We got to cast a wide net, right? They're thinking we got to try to appease a large audience, and I get it. That's not easy. So I try not to be super critical because they are making things I really do like. So I'm just going to be a dirty fence sitter, I think, and just be like, okay. But finally, the most offensive. I don't know, SpongeBob's right there, but again, I'm going to leave it alone. The most offensive is there's like Furby secret layers coming out. And I'll be honest with you, I hate it. I hate it.
Oh man,
hey.
they're all reprints too, as far as I understand. They're not any new cards. It's just
like it's
current,
the reskinning thing we talked about.
Yeah.
But just that it's there, like I said, like it's offensive to me. I'm going to do my best to not be upset about it, and I don't have to play them, and somebody else can play them all they want. It just seems dumb. I can't help it.
Yeah, you just player removal at that point, so you don't have to look at them.
Yeah, I'm going to just spank their face in. But again, my point in all this, to tangent a bit, is that you come from great storytelling in Magic. Like Magic had no issue storytelling as far as I was aware, reading the lore as I was playing the game. And so you have stuff like the Gatewatch, stopping the Eldrazi from annihilating, Ravnica. A very superhero story. So wonderful storytelling, a lot of fun, big stompy, nasty spaghetti monsters, hilarious at the same time. But it was cool, liked it. You had that. You had the battle between Urza and Mishra. That goes way back and inspired Antiquities and these type of things. And it was good storytelling involving Phyrexia and all that. And that's really great. So when you come from that and then you go to Furbies, you kind of lose me. The dichotomy is too stark. So,
Especially with a set like Phyrexia, man. That set was like cutthroat, you know?
yeah, no, that's what I like. I want the evil.
The
You
light
know,
and the
and it goes
darkness.
from like, let me play this nasty Urza card and spank your face in and mock you relentlessly, and then they're like, but wait, I'm gonna play Furby. Oh, what are you gonna do? Okay, I guess. You
Now
just kick
this
them out.
this cute little furball chicken thing that's terrifying just
Then you might
killed you.
lose to it.
Yeah.
That's the worst. So, like, not only that, but if you lose to it at the table, I don't know, should you just quit, sell your cards right there at that card shop, and just never play again? Because I don't know what else to do with myself. It's like, I don't know, it's like being Kaiba in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe and losing to that stupid Karibo card and just had enough. You just might as well quit the game. And you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but somebody out there does.
Oh man. Well, let's move right along before you get too upset and crash out on me here.
Too late. I'm losing it.
Well, let's look at the last year and we'll look at this current year as far as the set releases. So here for 2025, we're going to talk about the key set releases. But one thing I want to highlight is the amount of Universe Beyond sets we got. So we got, and this is a general Google search as well, and my terrible memory. So we got Final Fantasy, Marvel Spider-Man, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because it was right before Christmas, so that was 3. So in 2025, in January, we had Innistrad Remastered, reprints from the Gothic Horror Plane, which was pretty cool because that was one of the first sets I got a booster box of. Well, it wasn't one of, it was the first set. So that was cool. And then that was January 24th. And then 3 weeks later, we got Aether Drift on February 14th on Valentine's Day. Man, that's a short amount of time to be printing cards.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit of a break in March, but then April, we got Tarkir Dragonstorm. We got a 1 month. We got a 1 month break, and then we got Final Fantasy. Then we got another 1 month break, and then in August we got Edge of Eternities, and then in September
pre-Trek set.
Right. And then 1 month later we got Marvel Spider-Man, and then I believe in late November, early December, Avatar released. Man, that is not a very wide window. If I am recalling correctly, when they released sets, it was one every 3 months. So you got 4 sets a year that released, usually like one block, and then either the end or start of a new block during the next calendar year.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but aren't these as well standard cards?
Yes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Innistrad Remastered was, but all the other ones, yeah, I believe are standard legal.
So let's think of it in our days of standard. Can you imagine how many sets are dropping this consecutively and trying to keep standard, like your deck, up to par for standard? Like, it's so rapidly changing because of these set drops. I mean, I'm at this point, I'm super glad I play Commander. That would be hectic.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. I thought it was kind of tough back then. I think if I made the amount of money that I make now back then, I would be like, oh, this is nothing. But these sets are releasing so fast, I couldn't imagine it. Because some of these cards that are staples, you look at Badger Mold Cub. The last time I checked, it was $60. Like, you want to play a set of Badger Mold Cubs, you're shelling out $240, $250.
Right.
Realistically, on the higher end.
Yeah, just imagine being a college student. You want to Friday night, you want to do an F&M, and let's say standard still exists where you're at. How are you going to afford that? How are you going to be able to afford to play the deck you want to play? Maybe you play it on Arena. You've got this really cool deck. You like it. You're getting up on standard ranked on Arena. And you're like, you know what? I want to try this out at my LGS. And that'd be awesome. And there's that paywall again. And it's so unbelievably frustrating because, again, my whole thing with Magic is I want more people to play it, have fun, enjoy it like I did as a kid when I first saw the cards and said, this is the coolest game I've ever seen. And now there's this, it's so expensive, man. How do you keep a format alive like standard when it's at crazy cost associated with it?
Yeah, you're talking about like the whales are the only ones that are going to be able to play it
Yeah.
here soon, like the pro players,
Like,
which I guess
yeah,
is
and it's not fun.
cool. Um,
No,
but
no,
I mean,
no.
no,
Little
not
Johnny
fun.
deserves to play, Fuzz.
Yeah, and it's gonna be tough for little Johnny to compete against you know,
Of course it
somebody who has
is.
nothing
Terrible.
better to do and they can just have disposable income into
And they have like
cards.
a Furby deck, and they just demolish. I mean, what can a man do? You know?
Could you imagine that? Go to F&M and you just get absolutely roasted by a bunch of Furby cards.
Yeah, you probably should just choke that guy. I probably would. Just choke him.
I would just quit playing, I think.
After the choking, yes. I mean, he deserves it.
So I guess big point is
no one listen to me.
big point is we got 3 Universe Beyond sets, like main sets that came out last year with small windows of time. So to me, I think that is the bigger issue is the amount of time between sets for me. I don't like it. The game's really expensive as it is. So let's move to 2026. Let's talk about this year. So far, we've have Lorwyn Eclipsed that released in January, which is a really cool set. We got one of the strongest pre-con commanders, arguably, that's been ever printed in Ashling. Really fun deck. Really enjoy it.
I really am impressed by that. Really impressed.
Yeah. And the set itself was, man, it was a nice... Wasn't it nice to be back in Lorwyn? Like,
yeah, wasn't it nice to be in Magic's own?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like just the different creatures that come with that set and the different mechanics of it. Awesome. Love that set. And then
no Furbies in sight on Lorwyn, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they all get eaten by goblins. And
as
then at the
right.
beginning of this month, I believe, we had Ninja Turtles drop.
Yeah.
So the second set of the year is a Universe Beyond set. Me personally, I wasn't very hyped for Ninja Turtles. It didn't really. There were some cards I was like, yeah, that might be cool to get for a deck or two, but really didn't tickle my fancy.
You know what? We know what they did to Commander's Plate is unacceptable.
Oh yeah, with the pizza, I do like that one. That was one of the cards I'm actually looking forward to because I think it's funny. I want to get that pizza box set.
See, that's why you're wrong. It's awful. Now, what I like is that did the cost go down because they reprinted Commander's Plate? Because that would be the benefit.
I haven't looked yet. I would hope that it does. But one of the reasons
I'm trying to think positive of such a ridiculous card. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the reasons I'm getting that pizza box is because it is Commander's Plate, and you're going to get more than just Commander's Plate. I can't remember the other cards because I'm just focused on that one so much, but it's like a cool little collector's kind of box. I think it's going to be similar to in price to the Commander bundle you got with Avatar: The Last Airbender, around that price, at least from what I'm understanding. But you do get some cool cards. So that's cool. And I'm hoping it does bring Commander's Plate down by maybe like $10. That'd be cool. Because it went from 40 to 50. If it came back down to like 35, 40, that's a little bit more reasonable. But anyways, I can get it on a tangent about that. So second set of the year, we already have Universe Beyond set. So that's one of 4 Universe Beyond sets this year. So we went from 3 this last year to 4. I'm not sure if that's like tied for the highest in a year or maybe second place, but that's a lot. So we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that just came out. Not even at the end of next month, we have Secrets of Strixhaven, so in April. And then 2 months later, we get Marvel Superheroes, which, man, I'm not sure about. And then
think about it this way is with just the superheroes, they may be pretty successful in that, right? Like I said, most of the people I talked to, Spider-Man was whatever. Whereas superheroes, you're kind of hitting all of them. You know, you're bringing in a lot of different heroes, so it might be more of what people are interested in because the people they like might be in that set. Whereas Spider-Man might not have done it for you. So maybe they'll hit the mark higher on that one.
Right. So kind of going back to what we were talking about before, if you look at the sets they've already released, Fallout, Lord of the Rings, help me out here, Avatar. Those were sets when we were kids, man. That's stuff we grew up with, right?
Yeah, and we targeting that millennial market, right?
Yep. But now this year, look who they're targeting: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Marvel Superheroes. Yeah. Those two are you're going to be younger kids, like, probably 10 to 12 years old. And I know that we've talked about this several times about that magic when you learn to play. I know you and Will both were about 12 years old when you learned to play. So think
Yep.
about the generation now that are going to be 12 years old that like, yeah, when I started playing Magic, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Marvel superheroes, heroes
Yeah, that got you into it.
that got them into it.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
now I will say this, we're going to have back-to-back Universe Beyond sets. After Marvel superheroes, 2 months later is The Hobbit. And I will say I am pumped. I love Lord of the
You're
Rings
dang
so
right.
much, and I think The Hobbit's going to be just as good, probably a more happy tone if I had to assume, kind of like the book and the movies. They were a little bit
Yeah.
more adventurous, so I think we'll get a little bit more out of that. Maybe we'll get the One Ring reprint, which would be awesome.
One can hope.
Yeah, so that way I'm not saying like do another one of one, or maybe they won't do that because they did the one of one and they just wanted in
Right.
that set, but maybe they printed a little bit differently. But I am super pumped about that one because I enjoy The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, that whole universe. After
Me too.
that,
Fantastic. How do you beat Tolkien? You know what I mean? One of the best stories ever. One of the best stories ever.
yeah. So 2 months later, we get Reality Fracture. That one's an in set or in
Yeah.
universe set, and then
I think that's
November.
Jace's stuff, right? That's some of the finality of Jace's planning or something. I read, excuse me, I read briefly on it, but
I couldn't tell you because, like I said, there's just so much coming out and so much information overload.
right.
I haven't
Add
had a
it to the
chance
list
to.
of 1,000 sets.
Exactly. And then the final set that they're going to release is Star Trek. So,
Yeah.
Okay. With all that being said, that's a lot of Universe Beyond. That's a lot of sets coming out. I do think they need to slow it down. Maybe give us 2.5 months, 3 months. I remember being, like I said, that young man thinking, man, I have to wait 3 months for this next set if I really hate it. So maybe on the flip side of that coin is, okay, I don't like Ninja Turtles, but hey, next month Secrets of Strixhaven come out. I don't have to buy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, if you hate it, if you're a group that's really opposed to this, you can come up with like a house rule that you don't play those cards. So that's one way to mitigate it. To any UB stuff. I don't think it's, again, as much as I'm kind of critical of some of the stuff, Furbies. You don't have to like let it bother you. Buy the stuff you like. If other people play, it's whatever. And if anything, just make it like a bounty hunter thing. Somebody plays one SpongeBob card, I tell you, I'm taking them out. And you just turn the thing sideways. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But if people are playing, I'm trying to zoom out without my personal bias. And if more people are playing Magic, I remember being a kid, like I've said a million times, seeing Magic for the first time, being inspired to want to play it, be excited about it. If people are getting that as well when they see these sets, like, a young kid says, I love the Ninja Turtle stuff, and that's what gets them to play, and they play this great game, and they build friendships that carry them on through life, and this is an outlet for them that could be way better than what you could be doing. Look, as a parent, I'd rather my kids play Magic, hang out with their friends, and have good friends that like them than like going out doing drugs and partying and doing crazy stuff, right? So if it leads to people playing Magic, having fun, and there's some good in that. So as critical as I could be with some of the sets I hate, it could be good too. So
yeah, I agree. I'd rather have my kid at home where I know he's safe being a nerd. And I think my parents were the same
yeah,
way. And that was kind of my argument as well. Like, hey, I could be out doing drugs or just whatever,
right.
just being a menace to society. But no, I'm at a friend's house being a nerd. I'm safe. I'm not doing anything
Well,
dumb.
and think like even college level, right? You're in college. There's all that temptation to do all the wrong things, and if you're pretty moderate person, like you're there, I'm here, I got to get my degree, relatively want to stay out of trouble. It's not that you're not going to go out and socialize and do stuff, but like for the most part, if like a lot of your fun is like making friends, gathering around, playing this card game, and just having fun, there's nothing wrong with that. So even if we don't care for a set, but it inspires you, that's what matters. So we can make fun of certain things we don't like, and promote things we do like, but everybody has their own feel for the game and their own feel for different IPs that they like in the set. So who's to say that our way is it's just a way, like you like to say. And if you like these things, don't let us discourage you. By all means, go for it. If you like Furby, SpongeBob, the White Shroot stuff, go for it, man. I don't care. Play the game, have fun. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna pick on my friends when they play a Furby card. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So the famous phrase is, "It's not the way, it's a way." So yeah, you're
Right.
exactly right. So let's talk about this. Ninja Turtles. What do you think?
Okay.
It's the current Universe Beyond set. What do you like? What do you dislike?
Hmm. Again, this is one. So I played a little bit on Arena against it, and because I have not been super interested in it, I think I watched the Turtles in the '90s, like when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So like
The
Ninja Turtles coming
terrifying
back.
turtles that were in crazy, weird turtle suits. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world, but so that's what I know, and I haven't been super interested, right, in playing it. I'm trying to think that what was the you brought up one. I just pulled this guy in Arena. It's red green guy that like brings out a tapped and attacking creature out of your hand or
Yeah.
something.
Raph and Mikey, troublemakers.
Yes, so I could see some value in stuff like that. Again, Commander's Plate getting reprinted. Not opposed, although again it's kind of a silly artwork. But hey, if it drops a price, I'll take it. And so that's all good. Generally, though, I'm not super opinionated about it because I've kind of just avoided it. I was enjoying Lorwyn, and then that dropped, and I said, no, 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 I'm not there yet. I'm back here. This is an in-universe set. This is what I like, and that dropped, and I kind of was just like, all right, whatever. So that's my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I was playing a deck. I can't remember. It was I've been okay. So let me put it like this. Raph and Mikey. I saw him one game, and I was playing against him. It's some sort of blue. Man, what commander was I playing? I think it was Sokka. So Sokka, Tenacious
Okay.
Tactician. Yeah, that's what it was. Cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 with prowess and menace because of Sokka. And I put some funny cards in there, like Imprisoned in the Moon. And
Yeah.
there's one that's a similar mana cost. It's blue and it's got flash. And dude just ramps into Mikey, Raph and Mikey, plays him, and I have 3 mana open because it's only like turn 3, and he's got him out on turn 3. It was very impressive.
Mm.
I was like, whoa, that was cool. And
Outramped you, huh? You should feel ashamed of yourself.
well, I'm not running green, so Sokka's red, white, and blue. So I'm not.
What
That's
are you
not my
doing?
wheelhouse. Yeah. So
Why don't
nonetheless,
you leave that color to the professionals over here? I mean, my God, you're over there in Greenland. Get back in the kiddie pool.
I'll show you the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so he plays Mikey and Raph on like turn 3 or 4. Like I said, it was super impressive, and I flash in this enchantment that makes it a 0/2 and loses all abilities, and the dude quits. And I kind of laughed, but at the same time, I was like, it's part of the
Yeah.
game. So I
Yep.
was like, I forgot totally about that card, and I saw his artwork, and I was like, I'm gonna take a look at this, and I was like, wait a minute, I remember seeing a preview of this, and I thought it was kind of cool. Maybe I should try to build a deck. And dude, I built that deck, and it is so fun to play. And by the
Yeah, man.
way, dropping the original Emrakul and dropping a Primeval Titan onto the battlefield is amazing. So,
Whoa, hold on. They let you play prime time and
oh
like
yeah,
brawl? No
yes.
kidding.
And I'm like, wait a minute, Prime Time's not banned in Brawl. Of course, I'm
That's
putting him
crazy.
in my
I'm looking
deck.
that up. I'm putting that
So,
in some.
dude, it is really good. It's not overpowered, and I'm like,
No, that's
it,
why it's like it's
yeah,
banned in Commander for 0 reasons.
yes. And back in the day, I could see it being banned when Commander was like first a thing
Yeah, when it was a
because
baby.
yeah, it was a baby, and that might have been too strong. I don't think he's too strong for this. There's so much
Lord, no,
removal,
there's too many
and
things now.
I've gotten usually with Prime Time, I'll get 1, if I'm lucky, 2 triggers. And that is 4 lands. Don't get me wrong, it gets you a little bit ahead, but it helps you play your commander whenever you're playing against control decks that kill them instantly. Because trust me, when Raph and Mikey hits the field, you're gonna get that trigger.
No
but
thanks.
yeah, people are gonna try to kill them. They're not. They don't want them to stick around, because if you let them stick around, and you drop a Tali Primal Conqueror, and then the next turn you flip him,
Right.
Yeah, dude, it is cool. And there was another card that is banned in Commander but not banned in Brawl that I have in my deck that also is not overpowered. And playing it in Brawl really reinforces it for me that these cards need unbanned. There's a lot. There's too many cards on the ban list. So
yeah, and we talked about that as well. But
yeah, but
yeah,
it's really cool. I really, after playing it, and here's why I think, again, Primeval needs unbanned, etc. I played against the opposite commander. It's a blue-white commander. It's Dawn and Leo Problem Solvers.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall correctly, he's 3 colorless, a blue and a white. And he says at your end step, if you attacked, I can't remember the stipulation, but what he does is he lets you blink an artifact and a creature. And the guy that played him against me, he had a Solemn Simulacrum on the field, so he kept
cool.
Yeah, he kept blinking it and getting basic lands. And he was blinking his Arcane Signet, so after he used it for mana, he'd blink it and it'd come back. He'd have some mana sitting there. And I mean, he ended up I was playing Raph and Mikey, and you know how red-green Stompy can get, right? Like, you know how I play. That thing out red-green Stompy'd me. And I was thoroughly impressed. When I see green and red in a different color, especially in blue-white, that gets me going. That makes me want a deck build. So while I was not excited for Ninja Turtles, like coming into it's starting to like, it's growing on me. Like when you play the cards, it's just like, wow, the mechanics are cool, the artwork is cool, as long as it's not like AI. I'm cool with it. So those are just my thoughts. But
yeah, well, that's good. I mean, look, it may be something I dabble a little bit into. It's the challenge, like I said, is because it was right off the back of Lorwyn Eclipsed. It was tough to jump when I hadn't really fully explored this new Lorwyn set to jump over to that. Now I've had time to kind of play around with that, so I'm going to have to take a look at this Turtle set, because I want to see what they got that I can use and abuse. I know that Raph and Mikey thing, especially as I'm trying to build Etali Primal Conqueror, that'd be, I don't know, it's tempting to play that too. So it's very cool.
Yeah. So before we wrap this episode up, what's your favorite Universe Beyond set right now? Just out of all of them that have released.
Man. So it's tough, right? Because I got these cool dragons that hit Korvold, thanks to Lord of the Rings, and I also have like an Aragorn. I think it's the Uniter commander deck. So and I'm a huge Tolkien fan. So that's right up there. That being said, like I said earlier, Final Fantasy set is near and dear to my heart. And some of the commanders, the cards that come out of it were just bangers. They were great. And even Avatar, growing up, watching Avatar. So man, that's a tough. Man, that's it would have to be maybe it'd be Final Fantasy. Maybe just because there's a lot of good stuff. Like it went wide with a lot of the good material. And I think I got a lot of benefit out of Final Fantasy cards. So off the top of my head, maybe Final Fantasy. What about you?
It's tough for me too. I'm in the same boat between like Lord of the Rings and Avatar, because Lord of the Rings is so near and dear to my heart. And growing up, I watched Avatar and absolutely loved it. And the storytelling that it had was also very good.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
But I'm going to have to lean to Avatar, because I didn't get to play Lord of the Rings whenever it was around. I've gotten to play Avatar. And man, is it fun.
It is cool.
Man, it's fun.
It is cool. If you haven't watched that show too, that's great. And I think it's, for the most part, kid-friendly, right? So I don't remember it being like, because it was on Nickelodeon back in the day, so I don't remember it being like over the top or overly violent. Like it was pretty innocent for the most part.
It was, yeah. I think it's like young 7 or young 14, something like that. And if it's young 14, then it's because of the fighting that's in it. Because
Yeah, but even the fighting's like they're not like bleeding on the ground. They're like, it's really kid friendly kind of martial arts stuff.
yeah, it's good. It's good all around. Good
Yeah.
lessons in it too, I think, for kids with martial arts, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, you know
So
me, it's another thing I'm a nerd about is martial arts. So yeah, anytime they play onto that very well in that show, so it's great. But yeah, great pick. Good cards. I like it. Like I said, I'm playing Toph and I'm enjoying it. It's not going to be like a CDH deck or something like that, but I really enjoy playing some earthbendy stuff.
yeah, me too. Me too. Man, there was one other thing that I wanted to ask you about, and it's just getting old sucks. 'Cause
Yeah.
now I
Yes,
can't
it does.
remember. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Well, I mean, I'm really excited for The Hobbit. Star Trek, I'm not really a fan of. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
but look, the artifact decks, right? Edge of Eternities, if we know anything about Edge of Eternities, which kind of set up the Star Trek set as far as I'm concerned, we'll probably get more station stuff, probably some vehicle stuff. My artifact decks will love it. So Star Trek will probably be fine. Yeah, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm out of the two, space genres, I'm more of a Star Wars person. But no complaints if it helps an artifact deck, right? So, but yeah, I'm with you. The Hobbit, probably awesome. Looking forward to that. Strixhaven too. Not to discount it, even though it's not UB. Strixhaven, I really enjoyed the first set, so I want to see some more of that as well. So no complaints there.
Same. So let's wrap this episode up with this. Universes Beyond, good or bad for Magic? What do you think?
Ultimately, I think it's I think it's generally good, and that is weird to say, but because if I think it's the numbers don't lie, they're selling like crazy. People are getting introduced to the game because of this, and if more people are playing Magic, enjoying the game, and Magic sticks around, like it's funding Magic really well, it's probably benefiting it, right? We may not like everything about it, but if our game that we love thrives and survives, and more people enjoy it and play it, how can you get mad at that, right? So I'd say ultimately good, regardless, in my opinion, of the Furby and the SpongeBob stuff.
Yep. And I'm right there with you. So I think that Universes Beyond, while I'm a little on the fence about it, is great for the game. And I mentioned before that I went to a collector's show and it was 97% Pokemon. If Universes
Right.
Beyond can get um like trading card shows together, you don't have an event where you're just playing, you're just going and you're buying cards because they're collectible. I would love
Yep.
to see that. Man, because I'm telling you, I had a lot of fun. And like I said, it was 97% Pokemon, and I still had a good
Mhm.
time. It was awesome. My son had a great time. And if it could be Magic 97% instead of Pokemon, I would be
Heck yeah.
over the moon about that. So I do think it's
Yeah.
ultimately great for the game. Um, I'm not always going to agree with probably stuff they print like SpongeBob and Furby because I'm in the same boat as you, man. I just didn't that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
But
Right.
at the same time, there's some cool stuff coming out. When I actually play the cards, they're a lot of fun. So as long as you can
Yeah.
keep Magic fun whenever you're, as long as it still feels like Magic when I'm playing it, it doesn't that kind of lets me let go of, oh, okay, this is Ninja Turtles or
Yeah. Yeah. And
this is Star
the thing
Trek.
is like everything changes, and everything has to adapt or dies. So for Magic, for Wizards of the Coast, I'm sure they're seeing that. They're saying we've got to, how do we survive? How do we grow as a company? How do we keep this card game going that people love? And so, yeah, we're not always going to agree with every move, obviously. But I try not to be a downer about everything. Try to look at the positives. Like we named some cards that we really love playing that are all Universe Beyond, and so we can be critical, but ultimately we are obviously enjoying several of the cards. So I don't want to complain about it. I will just say, okay, well, hopefully these sets coming out that we named, we really enjoy them. They're good, and continue to build the game up and get people excited about it. So that's what it's about. People to get back into the game, have fun, and just again fellowshipping with friends and playing the game they enjoy. So how can you be too upset about it?
Yeah, I don't think you can be, especially like you said, if it gets more people in. So,
Yeah.
But hey, that was a great discussion. It was a little rocky at first, but I think
Yeah, because we're like, I guess, you know what I mean? We've warmed up to it. Like we're like, okay, it's okay. We don't hate it that much, so not too bad. And before I forget, because I will, remember, people, share the show with your friends, everybody you've ever met down the street. You ran into a random hobo. I don't even care. They give them phones these days. Just tell them, watch this show. Feel bad for them. Dang it.
yeah, yeah. If you're the one guy or girl listening to this, and give us that sub, we'd appreciate it. We'd like to grow and be able to do this more. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is, if we hopefully gain a following one day. It might take us a decade, but
Yeah, do the work. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, as always, it was fun. I enjoyed talking with you, and that's all for now. So,
You too. Down with Furbies. Goodbye forever.
goodbye forever.